by the staff and management. And then this is the opportunity for board members to kind of give any input if there's something they would like us to focus on in the upcoming year. We try to capture some of the items that we've already talked about in the past.
You have that in your handout?
I don't. Do you want a printed copy of it, or I can make it a little bigger?
You make it bigger?
Yeah, but I'd like to have a copy.
Okay.
Is it easy to do?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'd like to have a copy.
Okay.
Because you can't see it that
No, I can see it. I can see it
Yeah,
without my
sure.
glasses. I can't see that though.
way.
But I'd like to make notes next to it. So.
It's not there. Just-
Okay.
If there's anyone online, please excuse us. We're going to have them print out some copies of this at the request of Director Valentine. They claim I can't see it.
Asphalt, sandwich, broker.
Chuck, are you seeing that on your screen?
Yes, I see a spreadsheet.
Okay.
What's Pappy?
It's the approach lights.
Sitting approach.
Oh,
I got a couple. I'm going to spend another couple $100,000 here.
asphalt, sandwich. Asphalt gate,
Oh,
A41, where's that?
man, Tim, you just said that, and what did I just write?
Savage.
I know.
Oh, it's already on there.
So the gate we're currently working on replacing. So that would be the asphalt to complete it.
Oh, okay. Where's the gate at? Just gate.
Just past Hall Ambulance, as you're going
Oh.
out on Bellshaw, you
Yeah.
make that.
Or that track that you cross the track.
The track.
You cross the tracks, go past that Hall Ambulance gate. Keep
So like just after the curve, kind of, isn't it?
Right.
It's a big wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far will it, right here?
Yeah.
How far will it go back to?
No, so
Just the asphalt there at the gate.
yeah,
Oh.
it's a complete approach.
Okay. I get it.
So that's the same gate that the Boneyard has been having trouble with. The trucks would run into.
Right. We talked about it. Yeah.
So this year, this current budget year, we're spending money to replace all the hardware, do a new concrete island, new gates, new hardware, new openers. That will be to increase the apron approach with
Mhm,
asphalt
mhm.
from the concrete to asphalt, and then increase the asphalt from a smaller width to a greater width to meet the new gates width,
Mhm.
so they're not partially driving on dirt.
What are you doing? What's the hanger technology that you're doing?
That is to add fiber to the GA hangars so that anyone that leases or owns a hangar will have access to purchasing race so they can have internet or telephones. just a way to try to improve the
Yeah.
hangar.
Another added benefit.
Oh, what a great resource. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do have these startups that want to start out in the GA hangar, they'll have access to
Thank you,
2
Terry.
gigabit internet and telephones and any service they may need.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that delay. Just so you're aware, what's up on the screen, I did, actually, no, it's updated because I did on my screen. I've only left all the priority 1 items up on the sheet. We do have a priority 2 and 3, but we'll reassess those come mid-year and see where we're at. So we'll kind of just go through them. If there's, you have a specific question, Chuck, that you're online, just let us know. The first one, yeah, the lighted wind cone near the tower. My understanding it's an old wind cone that just needs to be replaced.
So
Is that facade?
Yeah,
The one
like
that's
it's the whole
right
infrastructure to
Oh,
bring it
Oh,
up.
really?
out there at the intersection.
So this one white windsock is a curiosity to me because it's not lit. It's it sits out there. It's actually a very beneficial location on the airport center. And So I guess this has been on a project list for a couple of years now, and it just now seems to have been made its way to the top. Which 15 grand is actually not
Right.
too bad.
So the next item is the PAPI CCR replacement.
And this has to do with. I'm trying to think which PAPIs were they. Do you remember? off the top of your head?
Mm-mm.
There's a component in the PPR that needs to be upgraded. I'm sorry, in the PAPI that needs to be upgraded, and that's what the CCR is. But I can get you guys more information on that if you have questions.
It's by, let's see. The CCR is the regulator inside the vault. It
Oh,
provides proper power to the PAPIs.
Thank you. Is there a reason for replacing it?
The one that's in there right now was a stopgap like fix for another regulator that went out. So this regulator would be the proper replacement for the
Okay.
one that's
Okay.
basically the Band-Aid right now.
Okay.
and that makes sense. Just so you guys are aware, airports will try to at least keep one regulator as an emergency standby for the circuits in case you do have a regulator failure, which is a critical component. So if we've been using this backup regulator, we need to actually get it onto the regulator.
Is that something we're able to service replacing a regulator, or does it require a contractor to?
I don't know what Floyd budgeted for. His people are skilled and certified in airfield lighting. That should include the regulator, but I don't know if Floyd.
Okay, that's probably too much in the weeds. I was just curious, like, if we have a spare, it goes out. Do we have staffing just go out and replace it, or
Yeah,
we have
typically
to?
yes.
Okay, or we have to get a contractor, which could take weeks, and maybe we don't need a spare. Well, in this case, we want.
Currently, we're on the spare right now, so we want to get the right one in there.
Yeah, I get it.
Gate A2 electrical improvement. Just some of the gates that they had put in quite a few years ago, so just some of them need some of the improvements done to them. Jason and Floyd have both been working on a lot of the gates around the airport.
So on Gate 02, we put in a gate for Virgin Galactic over at the Faith Building. We put in with temporary electrical to get that gate up and running, and we never went back and put a permanent solution in. So from time to time, that gate will have issues because the electrical is not. It's basically a temp line. We want to put the permanent line in.
That gate used a lot?
It's infrequent, but when it does get used,
Okay.
it'll run into problems, and we want to make it right.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay on a temporary solution.
And then the asphalt at Savovich and Roper, this is just actually doing the improvement to it. They've been kind of just band-aiding all of the asphalt.
So what's that involved? Because coming in, that was one of the, I wrote it down and it was Terry's reading. It's like deja vu.
Yeah.
The roads actually, at least coming in on Savage, are fairly decent, not chunks coming
Right.
out. And I think investing in the money to seal them, and we've done it in the
Yeah.
past years ago,
Yeah.
is better the money spent on preventive maintenance than have to come in and have it round up.
Piecing it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are working on that.
But that's to do those, or just
It's to do the intersection of Savovich and Roper.
just the intersection?
I believe so. Yeah.
I would like us to think about maybe next year and doing one of at least some sort of coating or something, whatever's proper for them.
I was going to say, yeah, Floyd would probably be able to tell you exactly this quote that
To
we got.
keep our salvage Roper they're fairly decent condition. They just,
Savage is in decent condition. Yeah.
but to milk it along as far as we can without a major.
So that's why there's only the intersection, but it is part of the reason. The intersection's really bad there.
Okay.
I agree with you. We need to do more, and some of that I think is maintenance repair. Like,
Okay.
but that intersection is rattling. It's alligator crack. We've band-aided as much as we
Okay.
can. So that's what that item was.
Mr. Coleman has a comment.
Uh-huh.
Jeff.
The intersection of Roper and Inyo Street where the railroad tracks are, that's pretty bad too if we're looking at repaving asphalt. And you know what I mean?
We are. I agree with you, and we've solicited a quote for that. And I don't have it back yet.
Okay. I mean, Roper and Sebovich is much better than that intersection if I were to take my pick. but I drive over those every day, so thank you.
Yeah, these are things that we need to plan for, I guess not this year, but in the future, because they're just going to keep growing. I know we've talked about the railroad tracks and what Chuck's talking about for several years. And even if it's a patch like we do with the hangars or something where we can go. I know rails, it'd be nice to have those, whatever they use that go in between the tracks.
Rubber padding.
Whatever those things are. Man, that really makes it nice. But maybe we'll get upgraded rails someday. I don't think we'll
Let's keep our fingers crossed. We're still waiting to hear the results of that grant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did make a note on the asphalt, and yeah, Floyd is in the process of getting a quote. We just didn't have it yet. So we'll have it prior to the board when we actually approve the budget, which will be the second meeting in June. So trying to allow for a couple more weeks to get some of these final quotes in.
Okay. It may be coming up, but the asphalt repair of the taxiway near the general aviation hangars, is that part of the infrastructure projects, or is it like
is it the repairs and maintenance like they're currently doing?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's underway right now, and that's under maintenance. So
continue.
Yep.
All right.
And then Gate A60 relocation part 2. They've done some of the work. Actually, I skipped over asphalt Gate A41. They currently are doing that relocation of that gate this year, so this is just to really complete that project at A41.
Location, please.
A41 is
west of the GA hangars.
Okay, the whole ambulance place.
Just past that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then Gate A60, the relocation. Where's that gate located?
That's over there by the Strata Launch building. That's to access the whole south perimeter road.
Okay.
And then the other gate is Gate A32, which is right here at Building 58, which has had ongoing issues when it's windy, and then also to update the pedestrian gate side. So, it's kind of hard to access. So that's what's updating all of that gate right here at 58.
Okay.
And then the GA hangar technology infrastructure. Jason probably speak to more of this. This is putting race down at the GA area.
Now, is that for the newer hangars that might be there, or is that existing hangars?
This will be for the existing hangars. This will add fiber optics so that GA hangar owners and lease holders can have access to buying race services.
Okay, well, kind of my comment that might be expected is that a week and a half ago on a Saturday, one of those sliding doors came down, and there's a 310 in that hangar, and they're fortunate it didn't hit the 310. So I'm going to campaign more for let's replace those sliding doors with some of the quotes that Floyd found, and then I've proven the hangar door system for 19 years. And I'd like somehow to get that in. I see $250,000 for the infrastructure. I'm thinking, well, those are 15 doors or 16 doors.
Yep,
and I'm thinking, okay, you're going to get to it maybe.
Yeah.
I have to actually kind of agree with Chuck here. What's driving that isn't going to create any revenue for us. It's a huge expense.
Yeah.
Race will benefit. I have a little bit of, you need to defend this, Jason.
Right. $250,000.
Not, mine's not.
Yeah, 250.
Oh. This was just to benefit the GA hangars. If the board sees it as not a benefit to the GA hangars, we can remove it.
Well, everything's a benefit for $250,000, and Chuck's got a good point. There's things here that could possibly be a liability for us that I would rather direct funds to than something that's a nicey to have. Most tenants, I don't know, Chuck, how do you get your internet in your hangar?
I don't at mine, but there's tenants down in those hangar areas that get internet. Like this Diamonds Brothers hangar there.
Yeah.
Used to be
Verizon has a wireless
right.
And,
you know,
but not unlimited.
Well, I don't
right, but
limited not living there.
I mean, satellites are a way to go too, and the Starlink program.
If,
So I'm seeing $250,000 and I'm going, wow, that's really up there for,
well, I would propose this, since Race does invest in customers,
yeah.
maybe solicit Race for possibly funding portion.
They won't without ROI, but they're not going to get the ROI.
Well, then we probably aren't going to get an ROI either.
Oh, we definitely will get an ROI.
Yeah, I would tend to want to mix it.
Yeah. Another point,
Well, because
I'm sorry,
we have
Jim.
many priorities, and it's
Okay.
Move it down to
I was
priority.
gonna say, I can move it to priority 2 to where we can reassess
Sure,
come
sure.
mid-year. So then that way we
if
get.
we
other-
had 60-70% of our tenants saying, "Hey, we would like this," I would think consider.
Well, let me make a point if I could.
Sure.
On a typical day, the Steinmetz brothers, myself, one or two other people are in their hangars down in that area. So we're talking less than 10 people, and the Steinmetz brothers have internet access in their hangar. So myself and one or two others. So it's typical day, and even weekends, there's not many people down there. And I don't know if this would entice people to go there, but for $250,000, I'm thinking, well, I'd get everybody a satellite dish or something, or a Starlink or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's just my view.
I'd recommend we pull that off. And put it,
Yeah, $250,000.
I'd recommend reinvesting it into GA hangar improvements. I don't know, is that?
Yeah, because this is just kind of like to go through it and then we'll kind of
Right.
some of the numbers. that we
You
have.
know, from what I've heard in the past few meetings, is there's several things. It's been neglected down there. And,
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of sliding doors for that amount of money.
well, doors, and
That would be my pick.
lighting, and just stuff.
Right.
A real direct thing.
Yeah, the lighting is getting better, and that's not super expensive. I mean, LED lights, boom, 100, 200, 300 or so.
Yeah.
But 250,000 is wow. Okay.
That was to cover every single hangar that's down there today.
Yeah, I'd put that on. Let's think about it list, if that's a list to have.
Yep.
Right.
And then also we have budgeted the, for the water line that we're moving over by the hangar development. I have 1.2 million right now. I think we're waiting for the final number. So that will be, also have that before the next, when we actually approve the budget.
Let me ask: is that the full length along Roper, or is that underneath the proposed hangar location?
That's full.
The full?
That's the full length,
Okay.
the hangar location.
But just saying $1.2 million, that kind of, we could, you know, get 100 doors for that, you know? But
I can't build a hangar that's over.
it needs to be done underneath the proposed area.
Right.
I don't know if that's ever been considered. It says, well, we fix it where we're going to prepare for new hangars. But I didn't see it that high back when they proposed it for just that local area.
Yeah, neither was gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
oh,
No, it's
It's going all the way down Roper, right?
we
It's
have
going all the way
to
down.
we have to do
We have
this.
to,
This
the water
is-
line
really
is
do.
something we
Yeah,
need
it's
to-
a water line.
You know what? You start having problems and screwing around with our fire suppression systems in some of these big hangars, and we have liability.
Yeah.
Right. We had an instance earlier this year where Progress was without water for 3 weeks because we had a failure of that
Yeah,
line.
no. In fact, not enough. I mean, is that
I think
extra,
so. That's-
is that extra hydrants or anything we may need along the way?
No, it's not. It's increasing our capacity and by way of putting a larger line in there and reconfiguring
Well-
it, but it does not add any infrastructure to it.
Yeah, I probably think a little bit like Chuck does, in that when you're doing this, you've got the equipment there and you've got the ground dug up. You know, if it's an extra $1,000 or $2,000 to put a hydrant in a location, you know, because we have a lot of those older wooden structures along Roper, could help them insurance wise, and you know, it might be like 2 cents.
Yeah, and I feel like and Floyd could speak to it more, that our water line is failing in multiple places. So this
No, we
is
have
just
to
kind of
we-
the kickstart to get this section done. And then we'll kind of assess it for future years on each spot where we need to redo the water line.
water lines is this $1.2 million going toward? Is it minimal or a lot?
I don't know.
It's minimal. I mean,
Okay. So
Everywhere.
the others are going to be prone for the same problems then, and that might be in the $5, $6, $7 million range then if we're talking low amount.
Right, and that's what we're doing in stages. Like, so this year,
Okay.
this one, the next year we may try to look. They are doing Mead and Hunt is doing a water modeling. If I'm speaking out of turn,
No.
but they are doing something of. They're looking at our water system, and they're going to tell us where our biggest point of failure
Okay.
could be, so we could plan each year to do a little bit of the water line, so we don't have to pay $5-6 million all in one year.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next thing is the airfield communications tower. Jason and Floyd, I believe that was something you guys had spoke about today.
So this would be a communication tower out in the test sites to improve our radio communications. So we have no blind spots on the airfield.
Repeater.
For our repeater.
And what's the $35,000 goes toward what, like antennas or special radios or?
Sure, it'd be the electrical, the fiber interconnect, the network cabinet, and the tower itself to put the antenna on.
Okay. I mean, I see 35,000 and I'm going, that's a decent number, but then I see 1.2 and I'm going, whoa.
Yeah.
It's just my instinct when I see numbers like that.
Yeah.
But continue.
And then the G hangar development engineering, I've just earmarked 100,000. I don't know exactly. I know we're going to have to be doing additional engineering as we move forward with the water line. We'll be moving on to the next step. So I kind of just earmarked that just as so we have something in the budget as we move forward past the water line, and we're going to go to the next step.
Okay.
Property, I just put 100,000. We don't have. I guess we have only one hangar that we're purchasing at the end of this year. So we just have that one, but I usually add a little extra just in case any property around the airport becomes for sale that we can purchase.
Which hangar is that is going to be purchased?
It's 948, I believe. It's one of the Pontius hangars.
Okay.
Yep, it's the last one of the Pontius hangars that we're purchasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the property adjacent the airport, that's been talked about purchasing and everything. What have we done recently, or what potentially could we acquire to increase the property?
Yeah.
Up by the Virgin Orbit site that's out of business and that, too. They were talking about property right there.
I think that problem's gone away, hasn't it, Chuck?
What's that?
It was the safety zone.
Yeah.
Purchase the property, right?
No.
Yeah, well, there's one property that we did purchase that we talked with Concentric Power about. I don't think we had any forward movement with the owners of it. I have a feeling
Right.
we budgeted it. They wanted a lot more than what
Yeah.
we're willing to pay for it.
Isn't that the one?
Yeah, we looked at
58.
it, but everybody is dollar signs and
Yeah.
everybody loves dollar signs, but we don't have the dollars.
Yeah. So on building improvements, building 5 fire suppression, which is our maintenance shop. Building 180, the fire main replace, which is the tower. No, sorry. Oh, pump house. And then the boardroom, as we discussed this last year, because we were going to, update the logos and such, is just a refresh with just paint, carpet, and redo the logos on the wall here in the boardroom. Building 141, we just recently got this building back. So it's time to do some improvements before we get a new tenant in that building. As we talked, we did earmark just for for 2 GA roofs, just as people move out, we're kind of updating them. We did a couple this year, so we're going to slowly try to do a couple each year, so that way over time that they've all had the new roofs put on them. For this first part of the year, as Chuck, we've talked about the hangar doors. I did put a placeholder in it. Floyd was going to move forward after the new year and order a set of doors, kind of see what options we have. And then hopefully we can get that set, and then we can budget accordingly based on that one set going in, how much it would be for the future at mid-year. Building 1 room.
I'm sorry. The last quote was February availability for those
Yes.
high-fold doors.
Yeah.
Would they be ordered soon and have them available for next year, or what's kind of the
We would, we would order, we could order like for the beginning of July, once we get into the new budget year, since it's not in the current budget.
Okay.
Which July is just a month away.
Yeah, a month away.
Yep.
That's very encouraging.
Yep.
As that episode that I said, oh, you could see that coming because there were new tenants in that hangar, and their 310 wasn't smashed in, so that was good. But I was saying, well, we need to improve the hangars. Those Floyd can add some into that too, but that's what I see.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to get the one set of doors ordered so we can get them here and put them on, and then we kind of, like I said, for future budgets, add on to it.
Yeah, that'll be a good prototype to say, hey, let's continue or let's do it a different way.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Building 1, room 33, new electrical service. Building 1, AC replacement. Building 180, re-roof the pump house. I don't know if that has been done since it was installed and put in, but
I don't think it's ever.
I don't think it's ever been done. So this is just kind of doing some of the maintenance and things that have been neglected over the years. We're trying to do some roofs each year, as we did this year, do some next year. So several different roofs. And then also putting rain gutters on the Mask-owned GA hangars. So then that way, just it may not fix the problem, but it'll help it. Those that own their own hangars, it'll be on them to put their own gutters up. But at least for the ones that are Mask-owned, to try to redirect some of the water.
And how many hangars would that be then?
34.
34.
Yep.
So that's, look at that, 3,000 a piece. I like that number instead of 1.25 million.
Yeah. It's a cost of doing business, you know. This is what a benchtop CCR.
It's a regulator that we can bench test
Okay.
airfield lighting equipment with.
Basically, what it is that instead of trying to test a light fixture out in the field using the lighting circuit, they can simulate it inside the workshop. We had one in Portland. It was great.
There's also more equipment with Floyd. The other item is a floor cleaner for the event center. It got all redone when we remodeled the event center, but over time it's getting really scuffed up. So we wanted to add repairs and maintenance, clean it up, and then get a floor cleaner so we can upkeep it in-house and not have to bring in someone to do the flooring.
What is a floor cleaner? Is that a person? Is that a piece of equipment?
It's a piece of equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like doing the ice on the arena.
Yeah.
Like a Zamboni, like a little Zamboni.
Mhm.
Like a rotating buffer thing.
Yeah. Client PC, that's just standard that we do each year. Crossover repeater system for frequency 1276.
This is actually, I'm glad we're doing this. In case you guys weren't aware, this airport got into this habit, and I can't believe it, but where we don't have radios for all our equipment because base stations are expensive. So what we've been doing historically is using our company radio to make clearance calls to the tower, which is a no-no. You should not do that because, for one thing, incidents. If there's an incident, we have no way to even look back on pull the tapes and see what happened. But more importantly, you're utilizing two different communications frequencies.
I can see the problem.
Yeah, you can see the problem. So what they're going to do is, and I love that Jason's doing this, he's converting all our handhelds so that we can actually use our handhelds as airband frequencies with the tower, which is brilliant. I'm glad that we can do that.
It's time to do the feed. Yeah. Saves a lot of money, doesn't it?
Oh, it saves a ton of money, and it makes sense, guys. How many times have you been out in the field and you need a handheld and you don't have one, but you have your company radio with you, you know?
Yeah.
And it cuts that. I used to have to carry 2 radios with me when I worked at one airport because that's how we got our emergency notifications.
I think every airfield activity should be, that information should be available to everybody. Some guy taxiing, some guy flying in. Everybody needs to know where everybody's at,
Yeah.
just for safety reasons.
Yeah. So really excited for that project.
And that other item earlier on, that Jason was talking about on the far side of the airfield, is to eliminate dead spots. They're hand in hand.
Yeah, right, sure.
Okay, and the pavement recycler. an ARF response trailer. It'll just be a trailer with,
The reason why what I'm recommending for an ARF response trailer is because they do this at John Wayne because they have one primary runway for commercial surface operations. If they get aircraft disabled, they've mastered their emergency response to about 30 minutes to remove disabled aircraft. They have their own crane, believe it or not. What we want to do is take a page out of their book. They have a trailer that has certain types of equipment on it, a universal tow bar, potentially airbags, I don't know, cribbing, the stuff that you'd need to do an emergency response for a disabled aircraft on the runway. The reason why there's value in it here is because when we have a disabled aircraft on 1230 and we have testing operations, or God forbid it happens when Strato's flying, we need to be able to remove that aircraft quickly. If we can have all the tools in one place on a trailer, we can mobilize and get out there. The second part of that is you need a mechanic, but we'll work on that.
You don't have to convince me. I've seen Gear Up, and where are we going to get a crane at? Call one of the other tenants.
Yeah.
That's
It all ties into a big picture. The game plan is to have an emergency response and to be able to remove an aircraft within so many minutes.
sure.
But this is a critical component of
No,
it.
we should have. Why don't?
coming soon, July 1st.
No, I saw Sean Roberts sign that bonanza to Gear Up, and I think they got. I forget how they were hunting for people as resources to get it cleared off. So,
Now,
We have resources here.
yeah.
the response trailer, is that for removing an airplane? Does it have any medical?
No, it would just be like mechanical components to assist
Okay.
with stabilizing the aircraft and getting it towed off the field.
Okay. I actually, I think it's true. I think Sean Roberts passed away a couple weeks ago or so. You guys aware of that?
I think, yeah, Chuck, yes.
That was an announcement.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And the other item is a janitorial vehicle, just a little transit van for our two employees and facilities, just to be able to keep, because right now they're using an old Ford Ranger pickup truck, so at least they can have something with all of their equipment on the inside of
How
it.
about a camper share?
So, right, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're using
Well, the vehicle would not be surplus. The vehicle would actually go to a different employee in maintenance. So it's going to be utilized. It'll just be redirected.
Well,
Yeah.
how much is that one? 35,000.
Yeah.
I continue to see, well, I see a lot of hangar doors in these numbers here. You know,
Yep.
and-
We got to
But I
get the
see.
first one in, and then we'll be ready to go with
I
it.
know. Okay. And how many vehicles do you have? All the white vehicles, the trucks, the cars? I mean, there's like 30 of them that I see.
I don't know the
20?
our fleet.
Okay.
Maintenance has.
It's not a quiz. I just,
Okay, I was like, that's one thing I don't know.
okay.
Study up on that one.
So mine is 31, and we've had a couple of purchases since then. But I don't know that we delete numbers when we remove them. So
Yep.
I think it's less than
I think it's 18 between the departments.
Pump health sensor improvements. So one of the other vehicles is director of ops. As of right now, she is driving the Equinox, and so when she's out on the runway and picking up FOD, it has not been beneficial to put it in the back of the Equinox versus a pickup truck.
So what the game plan is that the operations vehicles, they don't have a pickup truck. It doesn't make sense for us to go out and buy a bunch of pickup trucks. To have one that is universal and usable by all operations personnel, but happens to be used by the director of operations. And by the way, this is also my airfield vehicle. But just so it's not a vehicle that's sitting around. But the vehicle that Ops is currently using is even when I was the Ops director, was woefully insufficient. It's
I agree.
matter of fact, I've gotten it high centered a couple of times on the field. Todd did too. You missed that one. So that's the recommendation. And the goal is to, I think we've cycled that vehicle into ops and then surplus a couple more vehicles. Very things.
I believe so. Yeah,
Is there any money anymore for recycling the old beaters?
not a whole lot. That's the reason why I'm an advocate for, like, if it's still running, we run it until it, because we
Wheels
just
follow.
yes,
And
yeah.
they put new wheels
Yeah,
on
as
it.
long as it's safe, but yeah. currently the vehicles we have, when we go to surplus, then we get $500,000. They're not.
A lot of
anything
these don't go on the freeway, right? I mean,
No.
yours would, for instance, but there are a lot of vehicles.
Right.
that
Most
just-
of them just stay on the airport.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then this one's the replacement of the SCBA
And then I'm
for
going
the fire
to
department.
advocate for this one because it's a safety consideration. SCBA is self-contained breathing apparatus. The air tanks that are okay. So I've been fighting this one since I've been here because it doesn't make much sense to me. I'm like, how come we don't fill or cascade our own air bottles? We'll come to find out the reason why is because our air bottles are super old and you need to you have to have adapters to do it. So we can't take our air bottles to get filled over at the fire station right here with Kern County. We actually have to go down to Edwards to fill them because of the adapter requirement. So our SCBAs are so old that actually we used these same models when I was training in ours 20 years ago. And training SCBAs are the old ones. So this is a wise investment because it's a safety factor for one, but our equipment is extremely old. And we do need to replace it for
We
safety.
still have to take them somewhere to get them filled.
With the new tanks, my understanding is we can just do it over at Kern County. Which is
Over in Bakersfield? Or?
no, this station that's
Okay.
right here.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Right.
So is it true I see 4 new vehicles or almost new?
No, just two.
And, okay, yeah,
The janitorial
Okay.
vehicle and then the director of ops.
so okay. And they're gonna retire 2 vehicles at the same time?
No.
Or at them, okay.
And then the last one is just, as we've been doing each year, is trying to bring down our unfunded liability. So just continuing to contribute to our OPEB account to bring that down our unfunded liability.
And that's similar to last year and everything?
Yes, that's the same amount that we did last year. We've kind of
Okay.
stayed consistent with that right now. It's a slow and steady. So I think
We
We're
could
still
ma-
at-
we
we're
could
still
make it bigger.
we're still at $3 million of unfunded liability. So yeah,
Okay.
just slowly biting away at it.
So the total of 9.468 million, how does that compare to last year, for example? Is that
It's
similar?
It is comparable because also I had budgeted for I put an earmark in here.
Okay.
The amount is 6 months worth of our operating expense.
Okay.
So I budget into that to make sure that our cash doesn't go below that 6 months. So we always have 6 months
Okay,
in the bank. And that's only if every single project went through, which typically, obviously in an ideal world, you'd have them all done, but there's things that happen. Things have to get redirected. A couple things on the FAA projects. We are waiting for a final number on the taxiway A lighting on what our portion will be. And Floyd, you said the bids are next Wednesday.
June 7th.
So we'll know more of that. So like I said, that'll be another thing that we'll be able to have the for sure number before we actually approve the budget.
You're kind of on this. Project Pocket Ready. Do we have one?
Taxiway Alpha is the one that right now that we're getting project ready.
And there's no money there yet.
No.
So we're having the engineering done on it, and we're budgeting the money for the engineering.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we've actually budgeted last, when we did the mid-year, we did budget
Okay.
for the engineering.
Yeah.
So we're moving forward with that project. We have hopes that the FAA will give us the money this year,
So
but this way,
this is a really, just in my experience over the years, is really important because you never know when the FAA is going to say, have you got a project?
right.
Because
uh-huh,
to have it pre-engineered, so it's going to be money up front, we'll recover it if it gets funded. But it's a great way sometimes to get a few million.
Yeah.
And a lot of airports don't do that, and a lot of airports get the
Yeah.
money, but then don't have a project or don't have the matching funds to do it. So I really,
it'd be nice to have that money for the full 200 width extension of 30, but that's a comment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't say that all the time, but to me, I've re-asphalted things and concrete and everything. That's the most challenging, is to have those butt up. The existing runway, 20, 25 feet on each side, butt up to brand new runway. That's where you're going to get the problems. That's just my view, but they say they won't have a problem, but I'm skeptical on that. You know,
A few years.
14,000 feet, a straight line, and you're butting up a runway against it. I see it not being perfect. That's my view.
Yeah.
And I don't want a told you so type of thing, but that's the focus on a project like that I would be
Yeah.
very adamant on.
Yeah, have a conversation with the FAA, right?
Right.
So that's kind of all just for our capital items. This kind of what we've all the wish lists and what for the priority one. Just kind of wanted to go over a little bit on the kind of where we're sitting from last year to this year as far as budgeting, what the differences are.